My house is a magic power spot. Just by living there I become the strongest in the world. Chapter 151. Looking at my golems wet with the morning dew, I thought to myself, I want to try using something else besides for apples as the water golem cores. There were several water golems with apples for cores. That was fine in itself and they moved well, but increasing the variety and uses was not a bad thing. So, I should go grab some magic stones. Hesty, you wanna come with? I'll come. I thought to go pick up some magic stones and go underground with Hesty, but Gutilda. When we entered, we found the wind and earth spirits carrying a ton of spirit stones over. While they were at it, it seemed there were some magic stones as well. Maybe we can use these? We probably can. But I didn't give these guys any orders, right? I hadn't communicated to them my desire for magic stones. Why did they anticipate this and gather them? They may have heard what we said above ground. The spirits' sense of hearing can be mixed in with nature. Also spirits, with a master servant, contract have an instinctive knowledge of the master's desires. I think that may be it as well. So they have that kind of power too? Gutilda. The spirits nodded at me. It appears that Hesty's explanation hit the mark. Well, it's not like they can read minds, and neither can I. It's just a bit of instinct. Nothing more, nothing less. I think they moved due to your words. I see, so it's not mind reading exactly. It's nice that we were able to come to a mutual understanding, but it was surprising that they got things all prepared. But I am thankful. So I'll pet them a bit. Keep it within reason. Okay guys? Gutilda! Gutilda, I said while patting their heads, and the spirits looked very happy as they wriggled. These guys act unexpectedly well. Once they submit to a person, they will act to help them. Any spirit is the same. Even if it is a wild spirit, once they submit, they will be like that. Oh, as I recall, the wind spirit had gone wild and was being violent. But right now it was lying around and exposing its belly to the air like a dog. It was to the point where you wouldn't even realize that it was the same creature. These guys are strange creatures. Even for me, seeing the four spirits like this is fresh. In fact, I've never seen it before. I've never seen it either. So we're the same in that regard. But, Hesty, you've seen the four spirits before? In comparison, they were quite stern, she said with a bitter look on her face. Something must have happened in the past, but now they were acting almost like small animals, so there shouldn't be any trouble. Well, I'm just glad that they're being docile. That's right. You should take your hand off of them soon. I had kept petting them as we conversed. Was that bad? I thought and looked at the spirit. Gutilda. Both spirits were lined up on the ground letting off smoke. What happened? Their faces were pretty red. Maybe they were in bad shape. No, this. It looks like they got overexcited from you petting them. Isn't this too big of a reaction from excitement? They were physically letting off smoke, though. Their faces were quite happy. They are spirits. Their emotions are very visible, and it looks like their bodies are fine, Hesty said while looking at the spirits. They were looking at my hands and then, Gutilda. They happily twined around my arms. I wonder if this will raise the sensitivity with them. Probably. I just went underground and pet them though. It seems like this time my relations with the four spirits has improved. My house is a magic power spot. Just by living there I become the strongest in the world. Chapter 152. Oh Manaril, why are you looking like that? After hearing my voice she seemed relieved and put down her hands. I'm so glad. I could feel something coming up from underground, but it was you guys. Who else would it be? Well, I was thinking that if a monster came out I'd need to defeat it alone. There are slimes that can take human form, you know? Oh, there are monsters like that? But shouldn't you be able to sense if it was me or not? Manaril, if I remembered correctly, she should have some of the strongest sensing abilities amongst dragons. Even so, she couldn't differentiate between person and monster. When I said that, Manaral's mouth pouted like a lotus root. Your power is too big, so I can't do any detailed sensing. Thinking more clearly, it would be strange for a slime to have such power, but what if it did? Somehow. I'm sorry. And no, I'm sorry for getting so emotional, Manaral said, lowering her eyes. This Dragon King. Was basically what you see is what you get. Her emotions were easily visible, at least more so than Hasty, and her chest size compared to Anne, and her behavior was more docile. What? Why are you looking at my chest? No, it's nothing. Well, it seems like she had gotten a little upset before we started talking for real. Well, let's set that aside. So Manaral. What did you come here for? I was at the theater on the plains, but there were so many people. I ended up running away. You're not good with crowds? Just a bit. When I'm singing it doesn't bother me, but at times like these. It does a bit. I see. It's not like I don't understand the feeling. When you're around so many people, your stamina and will get whittled down. A crowded train is a prime example. Well, that aside, so that means you're free right now, Manaral? That's right. That's good. I wanted you to try the drink that I'll be bringing to the live. Is that okay? It'd be bad if I ended up bringing something that she didn't want to drink at all. That's why I asked. Manaral nodded while seeming confused. That's fine. What beverage? Yeah, it's watered down apple juice. I just wanted to see if it was palatable, I said, and called out a golem. Since last evening when I created it, it had been keeping cool. It was the juice server golem. What came out of the golem's finger was the diluted apple juice that I had told her about. I had it pour it into a wood cup. That's an incredible function. I could see her dumbfounded expression. Hasty nodded her head as if to say she completely understood. The entire affair had a weird feeling about it. Anyways, here, take a drink. For the record, I was trying for an easy-to-drink sports drink kind of flavor. It was just apple juice and water mixed together. But taste-wise it couldn't be too strong. Okay then, thank you for the treat. Manaral accepted the cup and silently drank. It's cold and delicious. She drank and kept drinking. Then, phew. She sighed and hung her head down. But even after a few seconds her head stayed down and she didn't say anything. Manaral, what's wrong? She didn't answer and her body instead looked unsteady. I was wondering if she was okay and grabbed her shoulder. Then I caught a look at her face. Her face was bright red. In addition, her body floundered and fell onto me. Whoa. I grabbed the cup and quickly supported her. I held up her light body with my arms. It looked like her eyes were spinning and her body didn't have any strength. What happened? It should have been just like drinking a soft drink. Why did it seem like she had just drank a bottle of alcohol? Do Dragon Kings get excited just like spirits? I thought when Hasty walked up and looked at the cup. Can I try a bit? Yeah. I don't mind. Hasty stuck her finger inside the juice and then licked it. Then she tasted it for a few seconds before looking at me. The strong magic power inside of the liquid fermented inside of the wooden container. It seems to have gotten much stronger. So it's not alcohol drunkenness, but magic. Really? This kind of thing can happen too? My eyes are spinning. Well, first we need to nurse Manaral. That's right. And so we decided that we should let the dizzy Dragon King lie in bed. My house is a magic power spot. Just by living there I become the strongest in the world. Chapter 153. This is. Manaral woke up looking warily around her. Oh, you're awake, Mana. How are you? I apostrophe m. Okay. But if I have to go to a place with so many people, she responded, sounding half asleep, and murmured some words. It seems she wasn't fully awake yet. It only took a few seconds for her to recover. I'm sorry, Daiki-san. What was I even saying? Her eyes were fully open now and she tried to get down from the bed. However, whoa, she fell right back down. It seems like you're not back to normal yet. It's fine if you sleep some more. But there's nothing you need to rush and do, right? Then you can take it easy. Then I'll accept your kindness, Manaril said and sat back on the bed. Soon Hesty arrived with a golem. Ah, you're awake, Manaril. Yeah, one way or another. What were you doing, Hesty? I mean with the golem. I went to get some water from the forest. It's fairly close. But it is normal water. This is what you wanted, right? Yeah. Thank you, Hesty. I had her go get some water with very little magic in it. She may be drunk, but I don't think it had a bad effect on her body. It would probably be fine if she drank water from your house. It might even help her recover. Well, just in case, if she got drunk again it'd be troublesome, so this should be good. I took the water from the golem into a cup and gave it to Manaril. Thank you. But really that golem has some incredible things. I was a bit surprised, Manaril said while looking at the juice server golem. Honestly, the purpose was to put juice in it and make it cooler and easier to drink. But it looks like I messed up. I'm gonna have to remake it. No. It was my fault that I couldn't handle it. Don't worry about it. For a normal Dragon King it would be an exceptional recovery drink. What I was surprised at is that the golem doesn't leak at all. That's what it was? Yes, water with strong magic is hard to contain. If you don't have a special container it is likely to burst. Well, I tried various things before creating this, but as expected of the Dragon King of the Lake, she really knows about water, to the point where she talks so much about it. Have you recovered? Yeah, I think I'm alright. This land makes it easy for my body to fix itself. I returned to normal so quickly, Manaril said and stood up from the bed. But her complexion was still poor. Her hands, which were holding the cup, were still shaking. Her footing also seemed unstable. No, you're not all better, Hesty retorted calmly. So, take a longer break. Hesty and I pushed her back onto the bed. There's no way I could send her on her way like this. I'm a Dragon King and yet you're treating me like a child. Well, if the shoe fits. Seeing her next to Hesty I could only see them as a little girl and a young lady. I was still unable to properly sense things with magic, so I had to base my decisions off of outer appearances. How should I put it? This is the first time I've heard a viewpoint like that. If you don't like it, then I can change how I treat you a bit more, I said, and Manaril shook her head. This is fine. It's more comfortable like this. I see, then I'll just stick with it. Okay then, just rest here a while. I'll be remaking the beverages. But when I'm better can I try helping taste it? I want to try the remade one. I don't mind but don't collapse, okay? Foo, I'm fine. Even so, that juice is so yummy that it might become a habit. I should drink it a bit more and get used to it so it doesn't affect the live. Manaril laughed roguishly and said, I see. Then, I'll make it properly so you can try. Okay. Thank you, Daoki-san. And so our afternoon turned into making drinks and trying them. My house is a magic power spot. Just by living there I become the strongest in the world. Chapter 154. I'm not sure if this is acceptable as thanks, but could I give you a song? Oh, you'll sing? I'd like Daoki-san to listen to it, Manaril said as she prepared. Okay then, let me hear it. Hesty, how about you? Then, I will too. And so, Hesty and I sat down in front of Manaril. In the meantime it seems she had gotten prepared. Oh okay then, I'll sing a little. Water dragon song. Water voice dash. A sound that couldn't be called singing or speaking came from Manaril's throat. She was making sounds. But it sounded almost as if she was doing an instrumental. It wasn't dragon speech or human speech. However, it didn't give a feeling of discomfort. In fact it was soothing. This is the water dragon song. It can control water. Here, look, Hesty whispered and pointed at the water we had prepared earlier. The water inside the cups were moving and swaying as if they were obeying the song. It can really control water. I was wondering at it when the song ended. Then, Manaril closed her mouth, looked at us, and smiled. How was it? Yeah, it's a very pretty song. It has become much better than the last time I heard it. Yeah, thank you. Manaril seemed a bit shy after she asked our opinions. Then she pointed out to the forest. The forest has a lack of water dragons, so the trees are likely to wither. Hopefully this helps the forest get more water. Huh, you even did that too? Thank you. How should I put it? It seems like the range is quite large. She was pointing to a pretty far location, so I was wondering if the effects would reach there. Even so, I can't control the water in this magic spot, so it's not that powerful. After all, the master of this land, Daiki-san, is more powerful than me. I'm grateful. It's been a while since I've been able to sing without minding the surroundings. You mean it's not like this always? My voice can control water after all. I can't carelessly practice within towns. If I do poorly and lose control. Then it's like that, Manaril said and looked over at a section of the forest. There was a large boar lying collapsed there. It had most likely been trying to attack my house. What happened? The water inside of it got mixed around and taken. It's a monster with high physical defense but low magic defense after all. If I let my guard down while singing, creatures harboring animosity towards me end up like that. The boar's feet twitched and jiggled. It looked like it was still alive, but it was completely knocked out. There was absolutely no sign of it getting up anytime soon. Mana's song has quite some power. So if I'm not very careful and regulate it, then I can harm the people that come to see me. That sounds serious. She's a considerate Dragon King, so I can see how it bothers her. Trying to sing must be exhausting for her usually. Well, since Hesti, Daiki-san, and the magic spot Sakura-san are here. It's filled with strong people. This means I can sing as I please without worrying about there being any effect on the environment here. It's so relaxing and gratifying. Well, I got to hear a very nice song, so it's alright. I'm grateful to hear you say that, Manaril said, sighing. Then she timidly peeked at my face. Hey, Daiki-san, could I come here to sing again? There's not many places I can go to sing without reservations. If it's no good, then that's fine too. I don't really mind. Really? There's no harm to me letting Manaril sing here. Actually, I'd like her to provide the BGM for my tea time. It was a very pretty song. Well, it'd be bad if it was in the middle of the night or early morning. But if it's at a reasonable hour, then I don't mind if you come. Thank you, Daiki-san. Manaril took my hand excitedly with a big smile on her face, and so, she excitedly went on her way, telling me she'd be back soon. I'll line up your order here, okay? And said and lined up many bottles the size of a thumb on the counter and table. Yeah, 100 elementary potions. I'll gratefully accept. Thank you for your purchase, Diania-sama. But what will you use all these elementary recovery potions for? They can't be used for serious illnesses, you know? I think that's a bit weird that you assumed it's for illness. But it's fine. It's for relief squads after all. Relief? Anne tilted her head in confusion. The fort city most likely didn't have such a thing. Diania explained, just in case. When an event takes place, there are often wounded and sick. The relief squad is there to help. They are meant to be able to treat people on the spot. It's linked with municipal government. Prussia was one of the most peaceful places. But that didn't mean it didn't have its fair share of ruffians. There were many who would cut loose at the prospect of a festival or event. Due to that, this type of system was put in place. It's just that thanks to the festival a short while ago, we used up quite a lot of our supplies. We had to resupply somehow. Is that so? Yeah. All that's left is to pick up things for Athena to use. Oh, come to think of it, Athena-sama is training with Karen and Sama. Recently Athena and Karen had taken to visiting the field dungeon to the north for extended periods. The dungeon master had already been beaten, so all that was left was to eliminate all the monsters. It wasn't too dangerous. Since they were up there, hopefully they wouldn't get drawn into the problems to come. Since Karen was with her, there should be no need for concern. However, recently, Ansama, in a dungeon you can even dig a hole to sleep in, Tilda, she said with a body covered in scratches. It seems like she was having a pretty wild experience, making Diania worried for her in a different sense. It's amazing that Athena-sama can keep up with Karana-sama's Spartan training. Apparently it's much easier than doing it right next to Daiki Ani Aizen. Or so she says. I can understand the feeling. I see, and seems to get it too. Certainly, after meeting Daiki and mingling with him, many things seem less frightening. Diania had gone through it as well. Once you stand in front of overwhelming power like that, things like dungeons are easy. Well, since Daiki Dano is basically it's good experience for her to do special training in a dungeon that won't coddle her. That's right. Unlike Daiki-sama, the dungeon monsters don't have any mercy. Under those conditions your wariness increases and some adventurers have been known to go feral. Well, despite that, she hasn't lost her royal manner, so there shouldn't be any problems. But it'd be bad if there were wounds left over. That's why I came to get the medicine myself. Watching her own little sister's growth was a source of enjoyment. Diania wanted to at least do a little something to help with the process. Athena's hard work and her persistence floated through her mind. As she thought, she placed the potions within her bag. Athena is working so hard, I need to do my best to make Monodano's live a success, she muttered. When Ramiro's appeared from the interior of the shop. That's right, if it fails then we'll have to fight Cataracta. I'd like you to spare me from that, okay Tilda? Seems like she was listening into the conversation before. However, she was rubbing her eyes, so she probably just got up. Oh, Ramiro's Dano. Good morning. Morning Diania-san. And sorry Anne for sleeping instead of helping. No, don't worry about it. Actually, Ramiro-sama was around for that fight back then, huh? I wasn't even born yet. When Ramiro's heard what she said, she nodded and began speaking. It's been about 100 years since then, huh? It was bad. Tilda. Me, Hesti, Manuel, and one other were fighting. But our attacks didn't hit well and it got drawn out. All the water nearby turned bad too. Somehow we sealed it, but I don't wanna do it again. Tilda. Listening to it made it sound scary. After knowing the danger of Cataracta, they had been checking the underground water supply but recently there had been more earth and water with magic in them. She was becoming even more uneasy. That's why she firmly resolved, I have to make it a success. The live is the day after tomorrow. Can I count on the two of you to help me out once more? Yeah, Roger. Diania-sama. Got it, leave it to me. Tilda. Thank you. I'm grateful. Diania continued to make her preparations as best she could. My house is a magic power spot. Just by living there I become the strongest in the world. Chapter 155. Then Hesti woke up as well, walking outside of her cabin. She proceeded to hand me a small wand. Oh, this was the spare one you talked about? It was white and gave a solid feeling to my hand. But it was smaller and lighter than my usual cane. Yeah, it's smaller, with more emphasis on portability. You can put it on your belt. Oh, you made it with that much thought, huh? It's a spare, so it should be easy to carry. Also, there will be times it will be useful to have another. That's true. I break these things more often than I'd like to admit, so there will probably be moments when I need to use this as an emergency replacement. Well, there's not many times that I leave the house though. But, for times when I go to town, this smaller wand might be better. Also, it has an emergency feature that allows the owner to call for it. It can come to you by itself. You made it with such a convenient feature? Well, it's for assurance, so once you use it, I'll need to replace the spell. As usual, Hesti's technological ability is amazing. She had made something that gave me such peace of mind. All that's left is to use it. If you break it now, I can remake it. Okay, it's perfect cause I wanted to make some water golems. Water golem X3, I said, holding my wand. Then one body appeared from the onsen, and two appeared from the watering hole. They automatically received a core and lumbered towards me. The wand is fine. It looks like there won't be any problems with everyday usage. It looks like I'll be able to use it normally, I thought. then looked at Hesty. She had a complex look on her face as she stared at the water golems. It's a bit late to be saying this, but you can manipulate water too. You are a bit late to that. But it was difficult to do what Mana did with her song, but I imagined it and tried hard. So now I can make water hard. But I still can't make water wave and twist like she can. If I couldn't make it hard like that, then I couldn't make golems. Well. It looks like you're used to it. Controlling water is unexpectedly difficult. Well, it's just good that I had examples, Mana, and the things that came out in the basement. It made it easy to understand. So it became easy after just watching it. I don't think that's how it works. But whatever. Hesty tilted her head to the side, but after looking at the original example carefully, you can understand quite a bit. The image in your mind was the most important. If you had that down, then you'd find it easier than you think. That was unexpected. I'll change how. Think about it. And what are you doing with the water golems? Well, I wanted to see if I could use it like wood armor. The other day I had placed my hand inside a water golem, and was able to control it unexpectedly well. I had the thought that I might be able to be completely immersed in a golem made from onsen. I was surprised, but, be that as it may, I might be able to make water armor, or a hybrid armor. But this is pretty difficult. But, didn't you make several of these? Hesty said and looked at a place in the garden. There were several water armors lined up. Those have many points in need of improvement, though they are usable. I feel like your standards are set too high. The water whip before was able to tie up a dragon. The other day, I was walking around the forest and a dragon came at me, and I tied it up and brought it down using the water armor. Apparently she had seen me. It has enough power. But it lacks the ability to do precise movements, so it is still incomplete. I was going to continue my experiments by only inserting my arms or legs inside. I see. Then use this wand to make more. Wasn't this the spare one? It is, but it's important to get used to using it. I also made it from easy to repair materials, so if it gets broken, tell me. So that's why. Then I'll gratefully use it. Use it fully. It'll make me happy. And with that, I continued my work with my new equipment. My house is a magic power spot. Just by living there I become the strongest in the world. Chapter 156. Oh, I heard a pretty song floating on the wind through the open window. The beautiful sound made me feel refreshed as I inclined my head to listen. I looked outside and saw Sakura on the porch. Manarol was further in the garden, but it seemed that Sakura had her eyes closed and was listening to her song. She soon realized I was up. Good morning, Master. How are you feeling? I'm doing perfectly well. So this is Mana's song? How long has she been here? Only about 10 minutes. She seems to be singing quite happily. Is that so? Her song was echoing throughout the forest, but I didn't find annoying or noisy and I was able to keep sleeping through it. How weird. Furthermore, I feel full of energy. What is this? I hadn't slept for even 1 hour, but it felt like I had gotten 8 hours of sleep based on how good I was feeling. Manarol-chan's song seems to have purification and tranquil properties. That should be why it removed the fatigue from your body, Master. It probably combined with the magic in this area and intensified the recovery effect. I feel like that's way too amazing for just a voice. Well, thanks to that I was feeling great, and while I was talking to Sakura, Manarol stopped singing. Phew. Oh, Daiki-san, did I wake you? She panicked when she saw I had gotten up. There was no trouble, so I shook my head. No, I woke up feeling great, thank you. There aren't many places I can sing like this, so it was very enjoyable. I'm the one who should say thank you, Manarol said with a refreshed look on her face. I'm glad that she had a good time, I thought. Oh, I was wondering what that nice song was. So Monodano is here? Diania said as she approached from the forest. Diania, huh? It feels like it's been a while. Preparing the event in town takes a lot of time, but thanks to that, The schedule has been decided. I came to relay it to you guys, Diania said and took out a paper scroll and handed it over. I unfastened the string and looked at it. There were several details about the live written on it. Manuel Siren Prussia live. First performance takes place on the plains at noon. Second performance takes place in the evening in town. The plains performance is first? Yeah, if it is light outside then there's less danger. Oh right. There are monsters out there. Normally I passed over it. I either got teleported or rode on Hasty. But I do remember when I was using Skanda and flight version with armor. Quite a number of monsters were sent flying about. Was it really alright to have a live in that location? Yes, I'll put up a barrier so there won't be a problem. Also since you've used your powers out there Deiki Dano, it makes it hard for monsters to appear. What does she mean by that? I wondered when Sakura nodded. That's right, Master usually tests his wood armor over there so it automatically causes pressure making most of the monsters run away. Thanks to that it's become peaceful. I'm grateful for that. I hadn't done that on purpose. But since it helped out I'm glad. It is my walking path after all. Anyhow Monodano. Is it alright for the planes to be first? Let me think. For me if I don't adjust properly then there might be problems and victims in town. If I get the chance to adjust first in the plane, then it'll help. Oh, thank goodness. Then after this we should return to the castle and make more detailed plans. Roger that. Manuel approves apparently, which means I'll have to deliver her drinks, and then I'll head to the plains with my things. That's okay right? I asked. Manuel and Diania nodded with apologetic looks on their faces. Yeah. Sorry to cause you trouble. Yeah, sorry to have you work with us all this time without a satisfactory expression of our gratitude. You don't have to apologize. I'm getting some advantage too. Even today, I got to have a perfect nap, I said, and Manuel seemed a bit surprised. I feel like that's the first time I've heard something like that about my voice alone. Is that so? Yeah, if I sing as I please then the power is quite high. So thanks Taeki-san, Manuel said with a peaceful smile on her face. Her cheeks also seemed to be blushing a bit. So maybe she's a bit embarrassed. It's before the live so you should practice as you want and keep your voice in condition. Diania, can we borrow Mana for a bit longer? Yeah, there's no trouble. If she gets tired, I can teleport her back to the castle. I want to hear Monodano's song as well. I want to listen to Manuel-chan. As we said that, Manuel's cheeks blushed even more and she took a breath. Then I'll sing. Manuel's beautiful song echoed in the peaceful afternoon. My house is a magic power spot. Just by living there I become the strongest in the world. Chapter 157. That's right Deiki Dano. Do you have plans for after you deliver drinks to the live on the plains? Diania asked in the orange light of the setting sun. Plans for after? I was just gonna go home like usual. I didn't have any business except delivering the things to Manuel. It couldn't be helped that I had to go there. But all that was left afterwards was to go home. The moment I said that, Diania's face flashed with a moment of happiness. I see. Then what do you think about going to the town to see Monodano's evening stage? It'll be all lighted up and colorful. The live in town, Seeing the colorful big stage in town would be a learning experience. When I had made the stage in the plains, I found imagining it more difficult than I expected. But even so, there'll definitely be a lot of people. Unlike the festival, there would be a lot of people concentrated in one place. Such a jam-packed place doesn't really make it easy to look at things. I don't like places like crowded trains and the like. I was pretty disinclined to agree. I frowned a bit when, I thought Deiki Dano would say that. I was thinking about giving you official private seats. Official seats? That's right, they would be inside my office in the castle. Or a private room if you'd like. From there you should be able to see the stage well. There's not much difference if you're right in front of the stage or a little distance away. Going inside the castle to watch, I see. Then I can avoid the crowd. I'll be able to look at the stage structure and listen to beautiful music. That'd be nice. It's just, is it okay for me to stay in the castle like that? I'd put the coating on myself once more. However, it'd be bad if the soldiers got affected that badly again. Will it be alright? No. There's no need to worry. The knights need to steel themselves and work hard during the event. In fact, this would be good training. Diania was asserting herself pretty strongly. Well, if she's thought this much, then I might go have a look. And then, I'll go to the private seats you prepared after the live on the plains. As I said that, Diania's expression brightened immediately. Really? Yeah, I don't think it'll be for too long though. I don't mind how long, Diania said, seeming happy as she clenched her fists. Then I'll have to finish preparations. I'll see you tomorrow. Monadano, I need to teleport you, so come over here. Oh, okay, got it. See you, Daoki-san, Manuel said. Then she and the excited Diania disappeared. Diania-san looks like she's having fun. That's right. Sakura. Why are you so close? Before I realized it, Sakura had lightly grabbed onto my arm. She was soft, so it felt pretty nice. No, I'm just feeling my spirit of competition burning. Please don't mind it. Is that so? Yes, it's just competitive spirit. Tomorrow you'll be having fun with Diania-san, so today it's my turn to enjoy my time with Master, Sakura said, laughing. But, you seem to be gripping tighter. Is it my imagination? Foo. It's just competitiveness. I just need to pressure more so that I don't lose to Diania-san. It feels like Sakura is being more assertive than usual. It was cute, so it didn't feel bad though. Also, I made some new snacks and cake before. Would you like to eat them with me? Yeah, I think I'll have some. Okay, I'll get them ready. It's snack time with Master. And so we spent the evening peacefully. Diania had rose with the sun and was doing final checks. The work had all finished, but she was checking documents. This is fine too. Okay, somehow I looked over it all. It was a hastily put together event, but she believed that management-wise it was done properly. All that was left was inspecting the planes. If nothing happened, they'd hold the concert on the plains, then come back to do the second concert in town with no trouble. Foo. Looking forward to it. That was when she'd be able to spend some time with Daiki. It might be selfish, but even so she was looking forward to it. Be that as it may, she had to put in effort right now to make sure she could enjoy later. Negligence was a powerful enemy. At the very least, she couldn't let her tension down till this evening. When evening came, she'd be experiencing a different type of tension. But that one would be pleasant, Diania thought as she gathered up the papers and placed them in the finished box. At that moment, Princess, there's an emergency message. There was a knock at the door as the night captain yelled out. Emergency? What happened? Manuel-sama has arrived and needs to speak to you. Monadano is? Let her in immediately. The door was thrown open accordingly. There was the night captain with sweat on his forehead and an out-of-breath Manuel. She wondered what could have happened to put her in such a state. What happened, Monadano? Manuel panted and took a deep breath to speak. Just now, I sensed the water, wondering how it was today. Then I felt that the underground water around here has become strange. Strange? The movement of magic has become unstable. This sudden change is a definite turn for the worse. Can it be? Katarakta has awoken. Hearing that things were going badly, Diania thought that was the problem immediately. But, Manuel shook her head. No, it shouldn't be yet. If it completely escaped the seal, then I should get recoil that will let me know. Is that so? But it looks like we should hurry. Yes, I agree. Diania looked at Manuel as they both nodded. Then we should have you head over now. Yes, of course, the earlier the better. I came here to do that. However, Manuel said with a difficult expression, an early morning concert won't attract many people. Without more people, my song's effect will lessen. That's right. You said that it increases the power. Yes, so can I leave gathering people to you? Yeah. That's no problem. The knights should already be prepared, right? Diania looked at the knight captain and he nodded. From the town to the plains. Our security is all ready. Also, we have a cheering squad of 100 people ready to go. As you heard, can you manage with 100? Some audience members had already arrived at the venue. Mannerl seemed a bit surprised, but laughed. That's enough. You guys are reliable. I am grateful to receive a Dragon King's compliment. We've dealt with many issues like this. We have learned to prepare. That's right, we've learned the importance of proper preparations and the need for quick action from our times with Daiki Dano, the Knight Captain said, throwing out his chest. Though with a wry smile. Well, we were saved from crisis time after time by Daiki Dano. Haha, that's right. But we have no intention of relying on him alone. Let's head to the stage, Monadano. Let's do our best. I'll be counting on you, Diania, Mannerl said, gripping Diania's hand. Then, we'll be going ahead, Knight Captain. Teleport. And so they teleported to the plains. My house is a magic power spot. Just by living there I become the strongest in the world. Chapter 158. Master, I've prepared the lunchbox and drinks. I'm okay too. Sakura and Hesty were waiting with their baggage in hand. It looks like there would be no trouble in leaving now. Okay then, all that's left are the golems. I had to make the golems I was bringing. Just as we thought up last night. Wood Golem X10. Last night I'd talked with Hesty and Sakura and decided to bring 10 wood and water golems with us. There should be enough. The water golems took more time and effort, so I made them beforehand. All that was left was for me to make the wood golems that would carry the barrels. I'm glad we prepared last night. It makes this easier. Golem making shouldn't be easy though. Hesty still continued to say things like that, but it was honestly easy. Then after I created the wood golems, water golem, come here. I called them out. They looked similar to the wood golems, but their insides were filled with liquid. Though it made it so we couldn't tell which ones had onsen water and which ones had apple juice. It was a Russian roulette. It couldn't be helped that we couldn't determine based on outward appearances. As long as we opened the tap on them, we would be able to tell. The onsen water was clean, so it should be drinkable anyways. As I was looking at them, Hesty gently touched one. It's very well done. Its fighting strength might be enough that one of them could defeat the town. Well, they're not for combat though. I had given it higher horsepower so it could get places faster. It was a juice server, so it was basically just for carrying baggage. The regular wood golems were carrying the luggage this time. Well, with this the golems should be good. All that's left is my armor. I'd have to walk all the way to the plains from here, so it'd be troublesome. Instead, Vedra plus Skanda, mode wind Vedra. What I'd come up with was the bottom half of Skanda with its acceleration power and the top half of Vedra with power. So I thought to name it Wind Vedra for now. Mixing Skanda's very high movement speed and Vedra's heaviness and slowness created a happy medium. It was an all-purpose form. Sakura, come here please. Okay, excuse me. Then Sakura and I entered the armor. When Hesty pointed at my armor's right arm, that Vedra has an equipment storage place? Yeah, I thought loading and unloading was a hassle. Individually they weighed quite a bit and cleanup was a hassle. However, now that I can place them within the armor and use it to support them, the weight didn't affect me. That's why I was able to place all these things inside. Also, if the golem's tap gets blocked, I'll need to hit it to get it open again. If you use too much power, the golem will go flying, so be careful. Yeah, I won't mess up that badly, so don't worry. I've already learned how to keep the power down to about 5%. I wouldn't want to hit the juice server hard enough to break it. Okay then, since the armor is all set. Let's go, I said and took a step and began walking with the aid of the wooden suspension springs. My legs were enhanced with springs, magic stones to aid acceleration, and water jet functions. Basically I'd use the springs and suspension to get around normally at regular speed and balance. But if I needed more speed in an emergency or otherwise, I could use the magic stones and water to achieve fast movement. It was a very convenient form. Moving like this is the way to go for sure. Okay then, let's be on our way. Sakura, Hesty. Okay, let's go master. Got it. And so we went along with 20 golems to the plains. My house is a magic power spot. Just by living there I become the strongest in the world. Chapter 159. What's up with this muddy place? The plains covered in short grass had now turned into a swampy wetland. Mud covered their feet, making walking difficult. This land should be fairly good at draining water away. What happened? Furthermore, the water on the plains wasn't normal. This is violet colored. It is water that has reacted with Cataracta's power. With time it will become more poisonous, Manaril said as she frowned. As expected, the situation wasn't good, Diania was thinking when armored soldiers came splashing through the wetlands. It was the knights they'd sent ahead. We have been awaiting you, Princess and Manaril Sama. The cheering squad has already been deployed, but the numbers. This water coupled with its magical poison effect has paralyzed many and they are down. Paralyzed? Are their lives in danger? No, though they may be paralyzed, it is closer to paralysis from magic-induced fear. Those who experienced Daiki-sama's visit should easily be able to withstand it. The knight laughed with cold sweat on his brow. What's more, when it turned to marshlands, some monsters have been making appearances. However, the Shining Heads have intercepted them. Even monsters were coming out. It was truly an abnormal situation. That alone made her grateful that the Shining Heads were here. But still, paralysis poison is troublesome. No, what's really troublesome is when this water returns under the ground and mixes with the underground streams, spreading paralysis water around. Manaril said in response. Then she hurriedly climbed on stage holding a microphone-like wand and having the spirits ready their instruments. I need to keep this water from reaching town. We need to start quickly. Okay, everyone, are you ready to listen? Yes, we are greatly looking forward to Manaril Sama's performance. Right, everyone? You all. Manaril-chan. The knights in front of the stage all raised one hand and cheered with all their might. Actually, there were some Shining Heads who had mixed in as well after they'd finished fighting monsters. It's good that they're lively. The audience was ready. There should be no problem. Okay, Monadano, go ahead whenever you're ready. Okay, my preparations are done. Okay, then let's go. Water Dragon Song. And so the spirits began to play and Manaril started to sing. It was a song that had no human or dragon words. But it still echoed through the plains. It made the water shake and swirl. Oh, the watercolor it began to change from violet to transparent normalcy. So this was the effect of Monadano's song? The effect was incredible, Diania thought as she looked up at Manaril. At that moment, boom, a sound echoed out across the plains. It appeared a few hundred meters from the stage. At that location, What is that? A single giant column of water shot towards the sky. What is that? As I was walking through the forest, I saw a pillar of water rising into the sky. It looked like it was coming from the plains. That's some strange magic in that water, huh? Sakura, it wasn't regular water, I could tell from the color, but it had magic in it. Well, it wouldn't have that color if it was just muddy water. But why is that water going around in the air? Hesty, do you know anything? I said and looked at Hesty. She appeared surprised as she stared at the pillar of water. Hesty, what's wrong? That might be Cataracta, she murmured. You mean the Cataracta that was sealed? The dragon? It got out? I asked once more. And Hesty seemed worried as she shook her head. The power is too small. It might be a monster. That I don't know. If it was the real one, then we should be able to sense it. But what is it? But wait, she said as she shook her head in denial and worrying. Make up your mind. Is it Cataracta or not? For now, should we go take a look? Let's do that. But I'll go ahead and check it out. Just you? With this amount of power, I should be able to clear it up, by myself. By myself I can ignore various things and go faster. I'll be off, she said and started running. Actually, she's really fast. Ignoring all plants and trees, she mowed down everything in her path, going straight through. Hesty-chan's fast, isn't she? That's right. Well, we should follow as best we can so we're not late. Wood golem, wood armor, speed up a bit. And so we followed Hesti's path as we began to run. That apostrophe S. Cataracta, the purple water dragon. For it to appear just like that, Cataracta glared at Diania, who stood surprised on the stage, and it roared, firing a purple-colored water ball towards her. It was aiming at both Manaril and Diania. Diania began to cast her barrier magic, but before that, all members, protect Manaril-sama and Diania-sama. The knights that had been in the audience all gathered, assembling their shields in a defensive posture to block the attack. Some of them were sent flying by the power of the attack. But even so, the other knights in the formation quickly closed the gaps that were formed. At that time, Diania was thanking these quick-moving knights in her mind as she readied her staff and stepped in front of Manaril, who was still singing. Monadano, I'm going to fight. Manaril didn't answer with her voice. She was singing, so it was obvious why. But instead, aim for the core. A sound echoed directly inside her mind. Manaril was making use of the communication magic air contact. I've read everything I could find about Cataracta. I'm aware of its weakness, Manaril Dano, Diania said while nodding. After reading so much about this dragon, Diania had a general plan on how to fight it. Cataracta's body closely resembled that of a water golem's. Within it would be a crystal core. It was a crystal filled with bad magic, but if it was broken it should be unable to maintain its bodily form. So, I see the core. Cataracta's throat had a large black crystal that was shining. My song is causing the core to glow in reaction, so aim well, Manaril said and cut off communication. She was probably trying to focus on singing. The song got more powerful and louder as it reverberated. Then, Cataracta started winding around and going wild. The song is working. As expected of Manaril-chan's song, the knights cheered. It seems like they're getting fired up. Okay, let's keep it going, Diania said as she hoisted her staff and concentrated. The opponent was water. Her flames had poor compatibility with that. But, in the months since she'd met Daiki, she had tried to chase after him. She aimed to be powerful like him and trained as much as she could. Now was the time to show the results. Now she would unleash divine fire, melt all barriers that obstruct me and purify all. Magna Flame Trident. At that moment a giant flame trident was born in front of her staff and flew forwards. Cataracta fired a water ball to meet it, but the trident pierced through without losing momentum. I've got you. It flew in Cataracta's open mouth and pierced into its throat, and like that the flaming trident stabbed into the crystal within, burning it. Then, Cataracta's body began crumbling. It appeared that the destruction of its core was a success. That's our princess. The knights cheered again. We did it. The backlash of fatigue from using powerful magic finally arrived. Even so, Diania was relieved that she had been able to drive away the threat. At that moment, Diania, that's not it, a voice said from above. It was the voice of a dragon king she knew. Hesti Dano. The moment she said that, Hesti swooped down from the sky. She said, it's too soon to be relieved. That wasn't Cataracta's true body. Not its true body, but I pierced the core? I saw. It's true that one was broken, but that was just one, created from fission. There are more, Hesti said, looking at the collapsing form of Cataracta. From that location another purple-colored pillar of water began to rise. It's coming again? It is. The proof is, Manaril hasn't stopped singing. Certainly, Manaril had continued to sing. Now that she thought about it, it was obvious. If that degree of attack could defeat it, then only one Dragon King would be needed to deal with it. It wouldn't be troublesome enough that even today there were still records left about it. In short, Cataracta has many cores and we'll need to repeat this process many times? Yes, Cataracta's screeness is not its attack power. Instead, it is stamina and tenacity. I see. How many cores are there? If you look, you'll understand. The moment Hesti said that, the purple water pillar climbed into the sky. It was bigger than the one that preceded it. It grew larger and larger. Then it appeared. Is this the real Cataracta? Yes, this is Cataracta, the enemy that we fought, and fought, yet couldn't defeat totally. As long as there is one core left, it can revive. What appeared in front of them was a water dragon that exceeded 100 meters. Its body shone with the light of over 100 glowing crystal cores. My house is a magic power spot. Just by living there I become the strongest in the world. Chapter 160. It's even wet here. Yes, it seems like that purple water has reached this area already. It was extremely muddy. If he hadn't been wearing the wood armor with acceleration equipment, it would have been very hard to walk. Even the golems were getting all tripped up. If the situation were to get worse, then it might become troublesome to run too. It'd be preferable to fly sooner rather than later. That's right. If we use our acceleration equipment and jets, then we can move all at once. Should we give it a try? We had already gotten close to the plane, so there was no obstacles obstructing us from the sky. The recent flight tests didn't have any problems, so it should be alright for a short amount of time. Actually, if I pull the golems while flying, we should be able to get there sooner. That's right. Then let's go. Yeah, I'll leave the balance to you, Sakura. Yes, please do. Then Daiki stomped hard on the ground, sending them into the sky. Now fly, Wind Vajra. And so the wooden giant went into the sky. The giant purple dragon was spreading poison water just by being there. Goo, goo, you. Every movement Cataracta made scattered poison around, weakening the people on the plains. 20% of the knights had already been brought to their knees by the poison. However, as long as we crush each and every core, it should be fine. However, Diania would not give in. It was lucky that the cores were easily visible. Compared to its large body, the cores were tiny. However, it wasn't like they couldn't be hit. Magna Flame Trident. That's why she immediately threw fire spears. A strike, equal in power to the one she threw before, struck Cataracta's body head-on. It then stabbed into one of the cores and broke it. Nice. Next one. Diania prepared to fire her next attack without hesitation, but At that moment Cataracta collapsed into purple water with a splash. It flowed over the ground along with the rest of the water. It ran. There it is, Hesty responded. She was looking around from the top of the stage and had found the dragon. Cataracta, who had turned into water, appeared to the right of the stage. It was about to fire a water ball. Gwa! The water ball fired directly at her. The knights set up a shield wall, but the power of this blow was on a whole different level than the previous one. They couldn't block it. And, as Diania prepared to use the flame trident to intercept it, I will block it. Shield. Hesty set up a shield in front of the stage. The poison water bullet struck the shield and splashed. Thank you, Hesty Dono. Don't let your guard down. The poison hasn't been blocked. Yog. As Hesty said, just the spray from the attack reached the knights and poisoned them, causing more and more to collapse. This is problematic. Diania could feel that her own body was becoming lethargic as well. She could only deal with it due to her own strength as a mage. Thanks to being near Daiki Dono's magic spot, she had gained a resistance to magic poisoning like this, so she was able to hold on better than others. Even so, this disastrous scene told her that she had to defeat Cataracta quickly. But what's with that dragon? I hit it once and it turns into water. It's just like back then. It hasn't changed. Once it takes an attack, it will change its body to water and run to a different place, Hesty said with a glum look, glaring at Cataracta, as she spoke of how annoying it was. What's worse is that it sucks magic from underground water. So if you leave it alone, for a while it will recover. Its stamina is abnormal. While it does that, it will continually poison the water as well. I don't know how many days it will take to break all those cores, but before then the land will weaken, and so will we. That's right, isn't it? After only a few minutes the knights had been worn out. They were lucky to have Manaral's song to help. But even so, if this keeps going for hours or days, this land will die. This is the dragon that we couldn't defeat, only seal. All we can do is break each core, make it as small as possible, and have Manaral seal it with her special song, White Flame Breath. Hestia said and attacked Kitarakta with her breath. The laser-like attack pierced straight through Kitarakta, but, I guess, I can't do it all at once. After a few cores had been burned, Kitarakta immediately turned to water. We'll have to do it over and over. That's why we need to weaken it while Manaralsan gathers power. It was a makeshift solution, but that's all they could do. Diania prepared to attack again with her staff when she saw something. She saw Manaral collapse to her knees on the stage. Monodano, are you okay? Manaral had been concentrating on her song. After Diania called out to her, she realized she'd fallen to her knees. Did you get hit by poison? No, that's not it. It's just that there aren't enough people in the crowd. There wasn't enough power, so I tried to force it using my own power. I think I got dizzy and fell, Manaral said, analyzing the cause of her collapse. Her purification magic used a lot of magic power, so usually she would use the people listening to share the burden, but everyone collapsed from the poison water. I lost my audience. Cough. Manaral could taste blood in her mouth. Her throat was dry and painful. Normally she would use her magic to recover her throat as she sang, but right now her power wasn't enough. Please rest, Monodano. As you rest, we'll try to weaken as much as possible, Diania said and descended the stairs preparing to intercept Kitarakta. Hestia also went to help. Manaral watched with teeth clenched. How frustrating. Even though she'd come this far and had help from various people, she wasn't able to accomplish her own task. She wasn't able to answer their trust. If I could recover my throat I could sing. Her throat hurt. It felt dry as a desert. She had to recover it as fast as possible, but her power wasn't enough. Cough. Manaral coughed through clenched teeth as blood seeped from her lips. At that moment, sorry I'm late. Is the concert still happening? A wooden giant smashed down onto the stage from the sky. Deidaki-san. Yeah, I made you wait. I wanted to bring you the water before you started, but it ended up like this, he said as golems climbed up onto the stage. Then they handed her a wooden bottle. Thank you. Manaral accepted the water and dumped it down her throat. It wasn't just that. Her power had returned. Power was welling up in her body. With this I can keep singing. Manaral stood up. Deiki saw that and laughed, putting a hand on her shoulder. Okay then, Mana, you can sing just like that. I'll go prepare your stage. A stage? Well, I made this stage for you after all. So I need to eliminate that troublesome stage setting out there. And so he stepped forth. His armor's right hand transformed into a giant pestle. My house is a magic power spot. Just by living there I become the strongest in the world. Chapter 161. It was finally time to listen to some good music, so why don't you stop it, Kitarakta? What's more, it'd be troublesome if that poison-like water got into the forest. What are you going to do if you dirty my house's water? I stepped out in front of my golems and I will crush those who jeopardize my peaceful life. When Vajra changed into indestructible Vajra mode, my armor transformed from its movement form to its combat form. As I arrived next to Diania, she looked at me with exhaustion and relief. Deiki-dano, you came. Sorry for being late. No, don't worry about it. It was our fault for holding the event earlier than planned. Oi, you're staggering. Don't push yourself too hard. No, I can still move. I can still support you, Diania said as she stood with her staff. What a strong-willed princess, I thought while I observed Kitarakta. Purple water in the form of a large dragon. It had numerous black crystals floating inside of it. Looks like it has the same structure as water golems. It has cores within it that maintain the body. I heard Sakura's voice say close to my ear. I see. It's a gigantic water golem. So. If I get rid of the cores I can defeat it? I asked Diania and she nodded back. Why yeah, but be careful, Deiki-dano. After taking one hit, it transforms into water and runs away. As it does that, the poison water mixes further with the land. Certainly the purple water was overflowing from here. This must be the cause of the muddiness at the edge of the forest. It's a huge nuisance. First, I need to stop that poison water that's coming out of it. Would golems go A. My wooden golems ran towards Cataracta's side. Those golems are going to hold it back. B. But the sizes. No, that's not what they're doing. What I needed them to do was spread apples around Cataracta. That would be perfect. After all, trees hold it down. Just with that, the trees grew rapidly and engulfed Cataracta's body. Cataracta wriggled and bent its body trying to escape. But it wouldn't be that easy. I'm used to this from making water golems. In the twinkling of an eye, the trees had enveloped Cataracta's body inside a wooden shell. I had thickened it so not a drop of water would leak. Is that method really okay? Diania seemed strangely surprised. But it should be fine since it held back the poison water. It won't last for too long, huh? It was creaking and cracking from Cataracta going wild within it. I had only trapped it for a short amount of time. Within that time frame I had to settle this, but, hey, can you send that as high into the air as possible? Into the air? If I use the rebound of a barrier then I can barely do it, but, Diania said with a difficult look on her face. As expected, that size was hard, as I thought that I can do it. Hestia arrived next to us and said that her face was covered with poison water, but she seemed as energetic as ever. Oh Hestia, sorry I was late. Don't worry about it. We're saved now, thanks to you. So, it's fine if I send it up to the sky? Can you? I can. If I use impact breath I can. That is lighter than Ramiro's. What's more, I've powered up since then, Hestia said, wiping off the poison water and puffing up her chest in pride. Good, thanks to that I can use that arm. Use that arm? You can't mean. Yeah, I can swing my right arm as hard as I want. The moment I said that, Hestia's face stiffened up. Yeah, that's right. If you aimed at the ground, things would get really bad. Diania's face froze as well. That's the thing you used on Carandano. But it sounds like you were holding back quite a bit. Right? Well. Yeah, but even so the planes had been damaged considerably. If possible I don't want that to happen again. If it was just opening a hole in the planes then it'd be okay. But I still don't think it's good. Got it. I'll take responsibility for getting it up there. Okay then, I'll help too. I can at least send it up slightly to help her. They had both decided on what they wanted to do. As I was getting ready I heard a pretty voice from behind me. I will back you up with my voice. If I sing with all my power, it should weaken Cataracta. It seems like Manaril would participate as well. That's good. Thank you guys. Okay then. Let's do it. They began their work as I said that. 20-fold barrier. First was Diania with her barrier, lifting the wood-covered Cataracta into the sky. Then, impact breath. Hestia fired a full-powered breath at it. Her tiny body let out an incredible shockwave sending Cataracta into the sky. As expected of Hestia, there shouldn't be any problem now. I can get serious. This would be the first time to fully use Vajra's power. I knew that it was strong. But because of that I had always used it carefully. After all, if I used it seriously many things would end up broken. However, if I were to swing at the sky. I wouldn't have to worry. I could be anchored to the ground. Since the ground was muddy, I sent the anchors deep into the ground to hold me in place. With this my countermeasures for recoil were complete. Sakura, I'll leave the rear to you. Okay. Use your power as you please, master. Sakura covered everything with as much power as she could muster. With this I should be able to swing as I please. Receive my first blow, Cataracta. What would come next was my full-powered attack. Using Vajra fully, in order to fully utilize it I had the mallet pestle on my right hand. Pierce the heavens, Vajra. Then my right arm flew at extreme speed. Steam covered it as it screeched against the wind pressure before breaking through. And instantly hit Cataracta. The hard wooden shell was instantly pierced through, sending the shockwave through. The shock continued up through the sky, piercing through clouds. Cataracta's scream echoed out. As it disappeared with not a speck left. My house is a magic power spot. Just by living there I become the strongest in the world. Chapter 162. After the shock and light faded and I put down my right arm, I took a breath and looked behind me. A huge hole had opened up. I didn't think the recoil would cause such a deep hole. The power was earth-shattering, and it seems the after effects were as well. A large hole was carved out of the ground with me in the center. In fact, my legs were completely driven into the ground as well. The armor was still okay though. It appears there are parts of the ground that couldn't handle it. I see. The area in a radius of 20 meters around me looked as if a meteor had struck. The hole was also several meters deep. The water on the plains was flowing into the hole, but it wasn't getting filled anytime soon. It looks like I really dug myself into a hole on this one. I made all my preparations for the recoil. But it looks like I have to think of some kind of launching pad, I muttered as Diania approached. Her face was covered in the purple water and was a bit pale. As always, amazing power, Daiki Dano. How should I say this? Sorry, I ended up opening a hole after everything. And no, don't worry about it. I was just thinking that I wanted a watering hole on these plains. Yeah, if I think of it like creating a small lake here, then it's a happy thing, Diania said encouragingly. Well, though you call it a lake, there's nothing but poisonous water in it right now. Actually, destroying the core didn't purify the poison water, huh? I muttered. That's right. That's why Cataracta's poison water is troublesome. Usually it would be troublesome, Hesty said as she walked over. She was covered in poison as well, but she seemed fine. However, this time you sent it flying as hard as you could, so it's fine. All that's left is cleaning up the existing poison water. Having it all gather here makes it much easier. Thank you, Daiki-san. Manuel followed Hesty over to me. Is your body alright? Thanks to you. The recovery water and juice that you brought helped me recover. So all that's left is the cleanup. Cleanup? You mean a song? Yes, my concert can purify it. I need to clean it up nicely, she said and returned to the stage where she held her mic wand. There aren't too many audience members. Is that alright? Almost all the knights that had came to spectate were down. Most of the adventurers and the skinhead guys were passed out in the standing section. There were barely any people that could count as an audience. Yes, it's fine. My physical condition is great. And the golems are here too. Some of the golems had been consumed in the battle with Cataracta, but there were about 10 left. Manuel was speaking confidently, so it looks like she was ready. Even if they're not living things, you can borrow their magic, huh? Yes, I'll be fine. This is my last song I'll sing here. Water Dragon Breath. And Manuel began to sing on stage once more. The beautiful song I'd heard before enveloped the plains. At that moment the golems in the audience began lightly glowing. That light flew over and gathered on Manuel's body. Then, this is amazing. The purple water that was gathered in the hole began to shine with light as the dark color began to evaporate into the sky. It got clearer and clearer. Then after several seconds it became transparent. But even then she didn't stop singing. Then, rain? Yeah, a drizzle. Actually this is probably the water that got launched into the air. It looked like the water I had sent flying upwards had made its way back down once more. However, it no longer had a poisonous color. It fell and was purified by the song as it shone with pure light in the skies above. It also fell on the stage and on Manuel. The midday sun and the glow from the purified rain wrapped around Manuel's graceful singing form. That's so beautiful. The singing and the view. You're right. We set up lights back in town, but it can't compare to this. And so, the muddy and poisonous plains were purified by the beautiful song that echoed to the skies. My house is a magic power spot. Just by living there I become the strongest in the world. Chapter 163. I called out to Manuel after she finished singing and got off the stage. Thank you, Daiki-san, she said, smiling happily. How should I put it? Your songs usually have a lullaby-type sound to them, but when you do a concert they sound more energetic. Hearing the difference between them is also a type of enjoyment. And the fact that you can tell the difference between them is a blessing for me as a singer. Well, I don't think my ears are that special but ... As I was talking to Manaril, I saw something moving from the corner of my eye. That water moves even after the song is finished. The purified lake water was moving even though there wasn't any wind. Yeah, that should be one part of Cataracta's body. Huh? It's still alive? I think it would be more accurate to say it was reborn after being purified. Cataracta was originally an embodiment of the will of water. It wasn't evil or malicious from the start, Manaril said, poking at the water. After receiving that stimulus, the water moved a little and that was it. After absorbing wicked thoughts and hatred inside its core, it turned into that. Then it was because of the bad cores? I asked and Manaril nodded, seeming sad. Yes, water itself has a will. But the hatred from the black cores filled it with ill will. That ill will slowly turned it poisonous until eventually it turned purple. Right now it is in a state of low activity. So we need to keep an eye on it so that things like that don't happen again. So the source of the poison was that main black core. In that case, if we replace the cores with regular ones, it would be alright? That's right, but it's basically impossible. You would need many superior magic stones, better than high grade, that can hold a lot of magic. If not, then any magic stones you try and use will be destroyed. Fumu. In other words, as long as we have a lot of cores, then Cataracta will no longer produce poison? Well, now that the black core is destroyed at the moment, it is possible to switch them out and that would stop the production of poisonous water. I see. I've just heard something good. I have something I need to try. I thought for a moment and called out to Diania, who was relaxing while sipping the water she was given. Diania, sorry to ask this when you're tired. But could you teleport me? I have something I need to get. Yeah, okay, I can. Daiki Dano. I returned from my house with, these are apples? Yeah. I was thinking that since it has the same structure as a water golem, it should work. For now, I brought back a full box of freshly picked apples. There should be about 100 of them. Here, how's this? I poured them into the water and it started moving around strangely. Then, oh, it looks like it's going well. The red fruit that I poured in wasn't destroyed and instead gathered at the bottom of the lake. That wasn't all. From the surface of the water, a small dragon shape appeared. A highly transparent water dragon, with a long shape, and a large number of apples floating in it. From it I couldn't feel anything particularly good or bad. Okay then, it seems we've made a clean Cataracta. No way. The substitution succeeded. The clean water dragon bowed its head in this direction and once again returned back inside the water. Now it won't let out poison water, right? Manaril was looking on in wide-eyed surprise, but my words seemed to shake her out of it. She broke out in a cold sweat as she looked at me. Why yeah, I don't think there should be a problem. But for apples to become the cores. What happened? Now that I think of it, I had never shown Manaril my method of crafting water golems. Well, there are various circumstances. They are filled with magic, so it worked. At just the right moment, a juice server golem was nearby, so I opened up the shell and let her take a look inside. She seemed even more shocked. Is that so? It's reality, so it must be so. It's reality, so it. Monodano. I understand your feelings. It seems she was convinced. Also, Diania was patting her on the shoulder for some reason. Well, enough about that. We made Cataracta pure again, but is it all ready to leave it here? It's a lake in the middle of the plains without any connecting tributaries. Would it really be alright to leave it here? After all, it was close to town. When I spoke up, Manaril and Diania listened before looking at the lake. Manaril nodded. I think it will be alright. Cataracta's become small. It should be connected to the underground stream as well, plus this hole is unexpectedly deep. Since Cataracta has been purified, fresh water will gather in here. With the apple cores, it shouldn't degenerate. If Monodano says so, then I don't have any problem with it. We will maintain surveillance just in case, but there's no problem having a source of water here. It seems neither of them have a problem with it. I see. I made a mistake in creating this giant hole, but I'm glad that it turned out to be helpful. And so a small and beautiful lake was created near the side of the magic forest. My house is a magic power spot. Just by living there I become the strongest in the world. Chapter 164. So these are the VIP box seats, huh? Chairs had been prepared in front of a large window. From that window we could see the lit-up concert venue. These were truly VIP seats. Though getting here was a bit of a hassle. Once we entered the castle, the knights greeted us with high tension and saluted. I was a bit troubled with how to respond. Well, leaving that aside, the seats were good. Come to think of it, things went wild on the plains, but they're holding this even without caring for it. Well, all things except injuries will be fixed with manaural songs. In fact, it's because things went wild like that purification is necessary, Hesty said while looking out at the town. As she said, if the poison water had reached the town it'd be bad. Using the concert to purify any stray water is necessary. What's more, is that Mana's throat was fully recovered from the drinks you gave. She's not really burdened by it. I see. Well, they can't just tell everyone to leave after they gathered here. Sakura is also preparing food at home. Ah, that's right, Sakura said something like that a little while ago before coming to town. Well then, I'll return early and prepare dinner. After all that fighting and going to see the concert. You'll be hungry for sure. I'll make lots and lots of food, she said, and returned to my home. As she said, I feel like listening to manaural songs would whet my appetite. That's why after I enjoy the music and atmosphere, I'll go home immediately and enjoy dinner. Then, I'll set off early too, Hesty said and stepped out the window. Huh, where are you going? I will go see Anne and Ramiro's. Though the Cataracta problem is over, I need to get their report. She's as considerate as usual. She looked a bit happy, so I wouldn't stop her. Once we finish talking, I'll avoid being caught by Anne and return. Okay. Roger that. I'll return too after watching the concert. Then I'll see you, Hesty said and jumped outside. I was the only one left in the room. Then I began to take a seat to watch the concert. Everyone, thank you for waiting. Diania, who had changed into clean clothing, entered the office. Oh, Diania, it's fine, I haven't been waiting long. I see. Huh? Daiki Dono. You're alone? Diania said, looking around restlessly. Then looked at my face. Well, it's as you can see. Everyone had things they had to do. Well, let's watch the concert. Oh, okay. And so, Diania sat next to me and we began watching the concert. Diania was more nervous than she had ever been. Even when she was fighting, her hands had never sweat like this. Calm down. She took a deep breath and made sure she'd be able to speak normally. Though her heart was pounding out of control from them being alone. She couldn't panic. I need to talk just like usual, she thought when, hey Diania? Hi. She jumped from his sudden call. What's wrong? And no, it's nothing. Okay, that's fine, but has the cleanup from this matter been finished? It sounded difficult from what you said before the concert. That's right, as Daiki said. Diania thought back. Many things happened during this incident. In truth, the ex post facto report, confirming casualties, etc. were all things she needed to do. She was going to abstain from watching the concert with Daiki. However, we'll be fine, princess. That's right, don't worry about these little wounds, Z. We'd rather listen to Manaural-chan's song. So please let us do the aftercare after the concert. If we don't, we'll lose the chance to watch her live, the knights said with tension unthinkable outside of a battle. She took them up on the offer and went off. Be that as it may, she did do the minimum necessary to stabilize the situation. For now the things that needed to be done in a hurry are finished. I'll work more after this concert ends, but there's not many chances to enjoy things with you, so I'm thankful. I don't think looking at the stage with me is that fun though. Well, the concert is fun. Foo. That's not so. At the very least I am enjoying myself a lot, Diania said, laughing as they appreciated the concert. Her concert that had nothing to do with fighting and the special location truly made this a special occasion. My house is a magic power spot. Just by living there I become the strongest in the world. Chapter 165. The concert ended to the cheers of the crowd as Manaril went backstage. She wiped the sweat off her forehead when, "Good work today, Manaril-sama. Please take this." A reserved knight handed her a towel. Thank you. Manaril-sama, do you have any plans for after this? The knight asked as Manaril wiped the sweat from her body. Why do you ask? There's a closing party at the castle. You're welcome to attend if you're so inclined. A party? There'll be a lot of people, right? That's right. The knights, the adventurers, the townspeople, and various events will be going on. Manaril listened to the knight's description and pondered for a bit before slowly nodding. Then, I'll participate a little bit to thank the people who came to watch. But after a bit I'll slip out. I have some place I need to go. A place you need to go? Yes, I haven't thanked that man for the success of my concerts yet. Okay, let's head to the castle, Manaril said smiling, as she finished wiping her sweat. After the concert finished, Diania took me back home through teleportation. Sakura came out to greet us with a smile. Era. Welcome home, master. Welcome to you too, Diania-san. Dinner is ready, so please take a seat. Okay, got it, I said and walked towards the table she had set up in the garden with various foods on top of it. Hesty was sitting there too. Welcome back. Yeah, I'm home. But Hesty, your cheeks look a little swollen. What happened? Anne was really pushy. My skin was softened from the poison, so her crushing me to her chest rubbed my cheeks the wrong way. If I rest, they'll go back to normal, Hesty said unhappily. She must have been strongly attacked by Anne. As I was thinking that, Diania handed Sakura a package. Sakura Dono, please take this. This is some food I brought from the closing party. Era, thank you. Why don't you eat dinner with us, Diania-san? Sorry, I should be heading back. I entrusted the management to the knight captain, so there shouldn't be any trouble. But I need to guide the leading actress Monadano, she said, and was about to teleport again when I noticed something. Huh? It looks like Mana's coming here. I could see Manaril walking in from the forest. Why are you here? Sorry, Diania, even though you threw a party I ended up sneaking out, Manaril said with a wry smile. I did go for a bit to thank everyone. But if I'm there, I think that there would be wounded people forcing themselves to go. When she heard that, Diania seemed a bit taken aback. That's true. Thank you for your consideration. I'm just sorry I didn't notice sooner. It's fine. I'm not very good with crowds usually, and I wanted to come give Taiki-san my thanks for the success of the concerts. In the end I slipped out partway through, Manaril said and stared at my face. However, there's nothing to be specially thanking me for. The success of the concert was from Mana doing her best singing. Plus the stage in town was made by Diania. I hadn't done anything for the second one at all. I was about to say that when Diania shook her head bashfully. I already thanked the people in town, but it was thanks to Daiki-san that I could sing so happily. I came here once again to give you my thanks, Manaril said as she smiled and took out her mic-shaped wand. Can I sing a song of gratitude as you have dinner? I don't mind, but didn't you just sing a lot? Are you okay? I love singing more than eating dinner. Plus it can help recovery, so she can self-sufficiently recover. What a useful Dragon King. Okay then, I'll leave it to you, Mana. Please do. This is my final concert for the day. It's a special one, so I'll put my heart into it. And so we enjoyed Manaril's third concert of the day as we ate dinner. The dragon sang as we ate. A quiet dinner was good, but having such nice music with dinner was great. My house is a magic power spot. Just by living there I become the strongest in the world. Chapter 166. I was temporarily disassembling some of the water globes I'd made previously. If only I could model and utilize these better. I felt like the juice server globes were pretty well made, but I felt they still had various possibilities I hadn't explored. Something like using wood for the shell and onsen water to create a bathtub golem. That was one idea. If I could do that, Then I could take a bath anywhere I wanted, especially when the hot season rolled around. Just by exercising a bit I'd sweat. It'd be perfect for then. I felt that it was starting to sound like a better idea by the second. I was in the middle of remodeling when, "Hello Daiki-san tilde Omana." "Hello." Manuel approached from within the forest. "This is a new mobile weapon? As usual you're making crazy things." No, it's just a bath. I hadn't the slightest intention of making it a weapon. Is that so? A bath, huh? Manuel looked at the golem with wide eyes. It was mistaken as a weapon, so I should be careful of how I mold its appearance. As I thought this, I looked at Manuel. She wasn't wearing her usual outfit. "Actually, Mana, what are you doing with that gigantic pack?" She was carrying a huge backpack around. This is my moving luggage, though I mostly left it to the spirits to carry my stuff. Moving? Since the matter with Katarakta has been solved, I no longer need to live in the bottom of the lake near the fort city. I thought a change would be good. That's right, wasn't it? She was living near that city to seal Katarakta. Now that the subject of the seal had been dealt with, she didn't have to stick around. So, judging by your luggage, you've already got a place you want to live? Tentatively, yes. I was thinking about living on the shores of the new lake on the plains. Remember the private rooms you made at the back of the stage? Certainly, I'd made an R for golems to stand by and to take a break. It was like a small cabin. However, there was barely any furniture. At most there was a table and a chair. You want to live there? Of course, that place is pretty comfortable. If I remodel it a little, then I'll be able to live there perfectly well. Plus, if I live there, I can watch over the new Katarakta much more easily. Oh, I see. Though it had been reborn using the apple cores, Katarakta was living in that lake nonetheless. I was wondering how we would be handling it. So Diania asked you to do it? It's more like Diania said she'd do it, but I thought that I might as well just keep doing it. I wouldn't be in a bad position and I'd be able to rest easy, Manuel said with a giggle as she looked in the direction of the lake. It sounds like you're having fun. I am. It's been a few decades since I was able to live on the surface after all. The only times I came out from the underwater temple were to do some concerts. Then I went straight back. Hearing that she'd been living underwater for several decades once more reminded me that she was a dragon. Not a human. And so, I'll be Daiki-san's neighbor. If you want, you can come over to play. I'll at least serve you tea. Neighbor. Though there's a forest separating us, it didn't change that she'd be close by. Furthermore, if the stage I had made was only used once and discarded, it'd feel bad. I see. Then I'll do some light remodeling on that stage, so I'll at least show my face every now and again. Thank you, Daiki-san, Manuel said and smiled before hesitating and saying, also. I'm sorry for asking so much. But could I come over to play sometimes and sing? There's a stage on the plains, but the only place I can let loose and sing as I please. Is here? She asked me with a voice that sounded like it was about to disappear. You don't have to be overly considerate. You already asked me this before. My answer is the same as before. As long as you come at a reasonable time, you can sing as much as you please. Thank goodness. I'll be in your care from now on, Daiki-san. Yeah, best regards, Mana. And so I got a dragon idol as my neighbor. My house is a magic power spot. Just by living there, I become the strongest in the world. Chapter 167. I walked to the rear of my house. There, within an area marked by a rope, shining golden rice plants had sprung up. I planted it to try. But it seems like they grow all right. Yes, there's a lot of water and it seems like the rice is growing well. Lately my stock of rice had been diminishing, so I had attempted to plant and grow some, just in case. I had confirmed that there was a similar type of crop sold in town. More precisely, I had the wolf people search for it and deliver it to me. However, I thought it'd be best to grow it myself. With those thoughts in mind, I planted the unmilled rice inside a plot of land with lots of water. Then using magic I pulled more water towards it, and before I noticed, it had sprouted. It had a different feeling from apples. The amount of power to grow a tree and to raise rice had a subtle difference. Despite that, it wasn't especially hard. Even without land like paddy fields, I could still grow it if there was suitable water and land. This was a good result. I had already collected it once and checked its taste. It was pretty delicious. Master's hand-grown rice is good and delicious. Well, it is fresh after all. Depending on how long I grew it, the taste would change. Furthermore, the amount of water, how I induced it, the amount of magic, and the way I used it would change the flavor noticeably. If I used water thick with magic power, the taste would become deeper and thicker. If I adjusted how much water I used, then it would gain a purer and cleaner flavor. Those slight changes were interesting, so over the past few days I'd made a lot. One of my rooms had been converted into a grain storehouse. One corner of it was dedicated to the rice I harvested, though soon it would fill up the room. Okay then, let's harvest this area and stop our rice cultivation for right now. Even if we gather more, we're the only ones eating it after all. It'd be troublesome if we gathered enough to fill up a house like we did with apples. Okay, then let's go put it inside the storehouse. And so we began harvesting the rice with the golems, but it's hot. It was a little before noon and my forehead was pouring with sweat. Master, I have tea here, so please have some. Thank you. Lately it's been getting hotter and hotter. I quenched my thirst with the tea. But immediately after I just started sweating more. It was really hot, though it wasn't hot and muggy, but a dry heat that made sweating slightly pleasant. The sun was cheerfully shining today, I thought, and looked at the sky while taking a break on a small wooden bench. I wanted to help a bit, but you finished? Hesty walked over from the garden with small steps. Yeah, though the golems did most of it. Even so, I only did a little, and look how sweaty I got. Tilda, it's the hottest time for this region, after all. Is that so? Well, I'm pretty ignorant of this place's seasons. Last month was pretty warm too, but this month was even hotter. It seems I should have learned a little more about this region's weather and climate. I was thinking about that as Hesty took out a small bag. Hesty, are you going somewhere? I'm going bathing in the cold lake water, on the plains. This is, for that. I was also wondering if you'd like to come? You mean Manaril and Cataracta's place? It should be noted that I had made that place. Certainly it was pretty small for a lake. It was more the size of a large pool. It was both larger and deeper than our cold water bath here at home. Huh? In that case we should be able to swim a bit. But can we just use it like that? Cataracta was living in it. So could we really just jump in without saying anything? It's fine. I got permission from Manaril. Oh, you're prepared, aren't you? If she'd gotten permission beforehand, then there wasn't a problem. Okay then, shall we go, Sakura? Understood, Master. There should be a swimsuit inside the closet, so I'll go grab it, Sakura said and ran towards the house. Yeah, thank you, Sakura. No, it's one of my joys. And so we carried our swimsuits towards the lake. My house is a magic power spot. Just by living there I become the strongest in the world. Chapter 168. And who was wearing a black swimsuit. Something annoying appeared. I wanted to see you. The moment Hesty reacted, she had already leapt onto her head-on and swept her into a crushing embrace. All at once Hesty's head was completely enveloped by her breasts, which were emphasized by the swimsuit. It looks like Hesty was going to be stuck there for a while, I thought when. Sorry for the noisiness, Hesty, Daiki-san, and Sakura-san, Manaril said from behind Anne. She was also wearing a swimsuit. Ooh, Mana, you're wearing a cute swimsuit. It's nice, I said, and she blushed while laughing happily. Thank you. I'm glad I invited Daiki-san and the rest. I see. So you were the one who brought this up. Actually, since Anne is here, did you invite all the Dragon Kings? I only invited Hesty and Daiki-san. Anne came here in the morning and wouldn't leave. I had a sudden foresight. I felt that Anusama would wear something sexy here. If I had to say, Anne would be the sexy one. Well, certainly Hesty's pure white swimsuit was very cute. Actually, this may be a bit impolite, but Hesty, you have a swimsuit too? She didn't seem to care very much about clothes, so I almost thought she'd go skinny dipping. This is something I wore while swimming on my journey. I know the common sense of wearing something to swim. Also, get off of me already. Tilda. It's stronger than usual. Maybe it's because of the thin swimsuit. Anne's breasts jiggled much more than usual as Hesty made her escape. Phew. Good grief, it's already hot, but I got necessarily sweaty. Haha, well, we'll enter the water soon. The lake was around the size of a 50-meter pool. It was deep enough that it'd be nice to swim in. All that was left was a changing room. I couldn't just change into my trunks out in public, so I used some trees and constructed a small changing room. While I was at it, I made some benches to rest. Deaki-san makes buildings easily as usual. Instead of a building, it's more like a simple box, so it's really easy. Now after changing into my trunks, next is Golem. Come here. Deaki-sama, what is that, Golem? I wouldn't feel right just jumping into the clean water like this. So I brought a water server golem that I turned into a shower golem. I modified the faucet on its finger and made it so that the water coming out would be like a shower. This should help keep the water clean. This is the first time I've seen a golem used like this. Should I say it's extravagant or amazing? Really? I think it's quite convenient. Anne seemed quite surprised, but I thought it was useful for everyday life. There were times when you'd want to take a shower when you're not home. Also, if I brought the onsen golem, I'd have a mobile bathhouse. It was nearby, so I held back from doing so. Bringing onsen water with such magic power around with you would be abnormal, I'd think, Hesty had said. Honestly, I had thought it was a groundbreaking idea, especially if your body got chilly. You could enter the onsen at any time. It'd be great. Well, the idea is amazing, but it's too high level for others to reproduce. Well, it's convenient. This place is good to enjoy the cool of the evening. Until now, this was a place without anything except a lake, but now it had a full suite of equipment. That's right, I think. This place is relaxing. It is. There was a resort near the Fort City's lake, but it was only one area. For this to be like a resort. The surroundings are a bit too desolate. Be that as it may, it seemed comfortable. Master, I'm prepared, Sakura said and exited the changing room wearing a cute swimsuit. It had low exposure, but even so the skin that was exposed was pretty and radiant. How is it? Yeah. It looks good on you. Actually, all the Dragon Kings here were pretty or cute. It was a feast for the eyes. Plus I could cool off here. It was a great place. Okay then, let's enjoy a nice swim. Okay, my house is a magic power spot. Just by living there I become the strongest in the world. Chapter 169. After taking a shower and doing some warm-ups, I began to take a leisurely swim. Thanks to the hot weather, the water felt wonderful. The water here is beautiful. The lake was so clear that I could see straight to the bottom. This boosted how wonderful it felt. There wasn't even any mud floating around in it. Is it this beautiful because Mana is managing it? I asked Mana, who was peacefully floating nearby, and she calmly nodded. Yes, I purify it each day with my songs, and Cataracta circulates the water. That's why it can stay so clean. Though it isn't very good for drinking, so I'd say it's slightly inferior to the water in Deaki-san's garden, she said with a wry smile before freely swimming around. Actually, her body looked half dissolved. How should I say? That's an amazing way to swim. It's because my body has a high compatibility with water that I can do things like this. Though I can swim normally too, Manaril said with a little smile, and her body turned back to normal. Then she started to float on the water face up. It seems comfortable, so I'll do it too. I relaxed my body. Then I naturally began to float a bit. I relaxed further and floated on the surface of the water when suddenly I felt my back rest on something. I turned my head to look and saw that a small water dragon had placed me on its back. Cataracta. Yes. It must be very fond of you, Deaki-san, to let you ride on its back. Fumu, Is that so? This is nice in its own way. It felt like I had an invisible life preserver on, making things much easier. I continued to enjoy the feeling of the sun beating down on me as I lay in the water. Looking around, I saw Manaril and Sakura having a grand time swimming around. This place was perfect for cooling off, I thought when. Hesty, what are you doing? Hesty was standing in the shallows, splashing water on herself. Then, okay. After looking at us for a few seconds and thinking, she looked as if she'd resolved herself and jumped into the deep end. And so, gurgle 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 gurgle, she sunk to the bottom of the lake while letting out bubbles. In fact, Hesty, she sunk like a rock. I watched as if seeing a strange creature as Hesty walked along the bottom of the lake towards the shore before finally emerging from the water. Are you okay? I approached the shore and looked at Hesty's face. She was completely soaked, but she didn't seem to have any signs of oxygen deprivation. Then she shook her body and threw the water off. I'm okay, I can breathe like that. Well, I can see that, but you sunk, right? Yes, I can swim, Hesty said, looking chagrined. Seriously? Really? Hesty, who seemed to be a master of all trades, had this kind of weakness. I can't swim either. I'm glad that Anusama are similar in that way too, Anne took advantage of the opportunity to interject. Her utterly soaked appearance clearly showed that she had jumped into the water too. It's not because you're a dragon that you can't swim, right? I said as my gaze naturally shifted towards Manaril in the center of the lake. But that's not it. See? Mana said as she turned to normal and did a doggy paddle. That's right. She was swimming normally just a little while ago after all. Well, it's just that Hesty and Anne are bad at swimming, Manaril said. I then looked back at the two dragon kings on the shore. I'm a dragon of earth and metal, so it's not really my specialty. I'm a dragon that almost always just flies, so I'm not very good with water. They both responded with their excuses. Well, the two of them didn't have trouble with their breath underwater, so it was fine. I was thinking that when Hesty walked over with small steps and said, "Please, could you teach me how to swim? I want to swim with you," she said while peeking at my face. I had never thought the day would come when I would teach Hesty something. It had always been her teaching me. Alright, sure, then why don't we have a little lesson? Thank you. Me too. Daiki-sama, I'll be in your care. Okay. I'll teach both of you. And so it turned into an impromptu swimming class. It was a strange feeling, teaching dragons to swim. My house is a magic power spot. Just by living there I become the strongest in the world. Chapter 170. For now, something to help them float in the water. I looked at the trees to the side of the lake and decided to use those trees change form. I made it so there would be a lot of air inside and made it very thin. I made it small enough to be held someone's arms and softer as well. So now, okay, it floats. I didn't know how much it would float, but when I pushed it into the water it had a suitable amount of resistance. The balance was good as well. With this I'd finished the kickboard. Now using this we'll practice in the shallows. How do we use these? You hold on to this and practice floating, like this. I showed them how to use it when they looked confused. I'll try, Hesty said and held on to the kickboard. Then she started floating. She was quick to learn. Anusama, so cute, and used her own methods to master the use of the kickboard and was floating there staring at Hesty's back. More accurately, she was staring at Hesty's butt. It was a bit bad, so I stepped in between. Anusama's back is ... Well, Daiki-sama's body filled with power is wonderful too, and so her gaze fell onto me. It was troublesome, so I decided to ignore it, and was learning at an incredible speed. As long as she had the kickboard it looked like she was able to swim now, or so I thought when, Daiki-san, somehow, Anne is getting way too excited with Daiki-san teaching her, so I'll take over from here, Manaril said with an apologetic look. If she supported me in this then it should be fine. I'll leave it to you. All that was left was Hesty but, Poo. I can float okay. But I'm not moving forward. She had mastered floating, however it seems like she couldn't swim yet. Yeah. From now on I'll be supporting you. We were going to start on the next level. I walked in front of Hesty and grasped her hands. Okay then, now I'll be walking backward so you kick your legs to go forward, I said, and she gripped my hands tightly. Gee, got it. Well, you don't need to hold on so tightly. I won't let you go. In fact, if you're so tense you can't swim. Oh. N. Got it. I'll leave myself in your hands. Yeah, I'll take care of you. I nodded and Hesty entrusted herself to me, and so Hesty and I held hands as she swam. After practicing for a while, Hesty was mostly able to swim without much assistance, supporting her while she swam. Was a good and relaxing way to get some exercise, I thought when. Master Tilda, I've brought lunch so please come when you're ready. Tilda, I heard Sakura call from the shore and saw her with a wrapped lunch. Oh, it's already lunchtime? It was good timing. Hesty had grasped the feeling of floating in the water and was almost ready to swim without support. Okay then, let's take a break and eat. After all, if you force yourself to keep going too long you won't have any fun. Okay. And so we stepped onto the shore, took a short shower, and walked over to have lunch. We sat at the wood table that I'd made and lined up in front of the food Sakura prepared. However, its contents were different from usual. Today's lunch is yakisoba, sausage, and other things that give you the impression of the beach. It's a lake though. But it gives a good feeling. After sweating and swimming, the salty taste was really delicious. I'd exercised my entire body, so I was definitely hungry. All these combined together and I steadily chewed through my lunch. This kind of thing was good at times, I thought as I had a peaceful lunch with the Dragon Kings. The dungeon was connected to a shallow underground water vein, so here and there water would overflow. Athena splashed her way through the water and continued in deeper. Finally I can move while defeating monsters. From behind her Karen walked calmly and easily through the ankle-deep water. Congratulations Princess Athena, you've taken a step forward. Thanks for keeping an eye out for me Karen. I never thought that fighting while moving around was so difficult. Athena had only trained in raising her magic power and magic strength till now, but after she had gone into dungeons she realized that that was no good. Onsama made it look so easy, but it's actually hard. That's right, Diania has the power to take down a dragon, so I'd say she is at the forefront of humanity in power. I need to learn from her. Athena nodded at Karen's words and continued to advance, but each step was heavy. Even at the best of times walking through this waist-deep water would sap her endurance, but what was worse was that it was filled with magic power. For water with magic in it to feel this heavy. It surprised me. For normal people the magic in this water would make them magic drunk or so pressured that by the time they were submerged this much they wouldn't be able to move. You've become quite strong Princess Athena. She remembered when Athena had first entered and couldn't even advance even when running. The magic in the water had seeped into her body and stiffened it so she couldn't move. It was quite troublesome. If there wasn't a dungeon like this we would have had to buy tons of cheap potions and created a pool to train in. But as expected a natural one is best. That was sudden. It looks like it'll take a little longer to move. Athena was feeling difficulty in lifting up her feet right now and once again thought that dungeons were scary. Are there people that can move normally in places like this? Onsama seems like she should be able to. Diania should be fine. Also, if there are people like me they should be able to as well. You mean Dragon Kings? Yes, this magic water is almost no different from normal water to us and someone else. The one who is even stronger than us could move through here easily. Karen said, gazing at empty space. Athena knew who she was thinking of. Yeah, Daiki Ani Aizen would be fine. After all, he brought that amazing magic juice before. He drinks that daily and easily. He's truly outside the realm of normalcy, Karen said and clenched her fists. Somehow just talking about him made me want to see Daiki. I'll be going through withdrawal symptoms pretty soon. Karen's thinking of Daiki Ani Aizen all the time and getting worked up. You're a bit like Hansan, Athena said, and Karen looked a little sullen. It feels a little strange to be compared to that girl. But I can't deny it. The calm and collected Karen of the capital city would become very expressive when exposed to Dayaki's power. Her sharp personality would mellow out as well. Well, despite that her personality wasn't that strict and cold to begin with, Athena thought it was a nice change nonetheless. Plus, I know how Karen feels. I wanna see Dayaki Eisen Tilda. It felt bad not being able to see that strong and kind man who she looked up to. However, she knew she couldn't leave this training unfinished. She couldn't show him such a shameful thing. That's why Athena wanted to do her best to get stronger. This dungeon's depths are connected to the forest, right? Yes, though it is very deep within. So if we do our best and keep going we can meet Dayaki Eisen, right? Athena said, and it seemed to reinvigorate her spirit. Phew, she breathed out and stood once more. Okay then, break time's over. Karen, I'll try to move forward some more. Yes, I'll keep a close eye on you, so please try your best, Princess Athena. And so Athena and Karen continued deeper into the dungeon. My house is a magic power spot. Just by living there I become the strongest in the world. Chapter 171. It was to the point where she could keep up with us. Swimming is fun, Hesty said with a small smile. Hearing you say that makes teaching you worthwhile. I got a nosebleed from watching Anu-sama and Dayaki-sama's skinship, Anne said while in the shallows, and when I looked, her nose was really bleeding. It was at a level where it could even stain the lake. Wasn't Dragon King blood something precious? I wonder if it's alright to just let it overflow like that? Now that I looked, the blood that was flowing into the water was gathered up by Cataracta and separated. The lake remaining fresh and clean should be thanks to Cataracta and Manuel. In fact, Anne, take a break if your nose is bleeding. It's dangerous in more than one way. Ah, okay, I got it. And so she held her nose and moved to the bench at the side of the lake and took a break. With this, Cataracta should have it easier, I thought when Manuel stopped singing and approached. Thank you, Dayaki-san. No, don't worry about it. It wasn't only for you. It felt bad to be swimming in a lake that was slowly getting dirtied by blood. When I said that, Manuel's eyes widened and then she laughed. Is that funny? Foo-foo, that's not it. I was just thinking that Dayaki-san is kind. I don't think that's the conclusion you'd normally reach though. I don't think the judgment of a Dragon King is a normal thing in the first place. Is that how it is? I wondered when. That's right, Dayaki-san. If you like playing around in the water, then why don't you come to the lake I used to live in? The one before? You mean the lake by the fort city? That's right, it's deeper and larger than here and there's plenty of fish. It's perfect for swimming. Oh, I see. There are fish and things over there. It has its own ecosystem. Seems like a good place to go snorkeling or things like that. Plus the bottom of the lake is beautiful. I personally recommend walking along the bottom of that lake, you know. Well, even if you recommend it, I can't breathe underwater, you know. Walking along the bottom of the lake would need some sort of magic. I didn't know how to do it. When I said that, Manuel looked at me with a confused look on her face. But Dayaki-san, you can use coding, right? Yeah. Then I think you should be able to breathe. It's a layer of magic between your body and your surroundings. It should be able to have only air pass through. Really? I looked at Hesty, who had taught me coding. She nodded her head as well. It's possible. You can try. Oh, okay. Then, coding. I placed the coating around my body and put my head underwater. Then, how is it? I could clearly hear Hesty's voice normally. In fact, water didn't even enter my mouth. I was able to breathe normally. It felt as if I was converting water into air. I can really breathe underwater. How is this possible? Fundamentally, coding is meant to be magic to protect your life and body in severe environments. It can even use magic power to change the surrounding environment into breathable air. That's why it works for moving underwater as well. Is that so? I'd never heard that before. I thought it was only magic used to hold down your magic power. If that was the case, then this magic would have too few merits. You couldn't use it for anything except suppressing your presence. You taught me such an amazing spell, Hesty. Well, I think you're the amazing one for learning it after I showed you once, or twice, Hesty said with a little smile. But I'm glad it was useful to you. Yeah, it was useful in a completely different way than I thought. I'm glad. It seems like I had learned magic that would let me breathe underwater without knowing it. My house is a magic power spot. Just by living there I become the strongest in the world. Chapter 172. I want to practice underwater breathing a bit. Yes, go ahead. I will be on standby just in case. Then, I will support you, too. I was thankful for the Dragon King's support. With the lecture from the two of them I decided to give this a shot. Okay. Coating. After wrapping the magical layer around my body and moved to the center of the lake, placing my face underwater, I checked that I could breathe. Then, okay, I started swimming for the bottom of the lake. As I swam I realized that coating also worked like goggles. It allowed me to swim without closing my eyes. Good progress. I got the stamp of approval from Hesty, who was following me. But, you can breathe, you know? Oh yeah, I can. I had unintentionally held my breath from habit. The need to hold my breath underwater was ingrained in my mind. If I had experience with diving then it might be different though. I wonder if I'll ever get used to this, I said, looking around at the water all around me. Well, coating is that kind of magic. Actually I'm realizing again how strong and stable your coating is. It can even push the water aside. It's surprising. Looking at Hesty, her coating was more like a membrane while mine leaned towards being thick. Well, either way we were both able to breathe and move, I thought, and looked upwards. Oh, this is pretty amazing. I could see straight through the crystal clear water. The sunlight filtered through the shimmering liquid and I could see Sakura and Manuel swimming around. Seeing everything from the bottom was a different type of experience. It was really interesting. Certainly doing this in a deep lake with fish and various things around would be good. You can probably do that in the Fort City's lake. Is that so? In that case then I should get more used to breathing underwater. Then when another hot day comes around I might go take a look at that lake. Well, at that time I might invite some other people. Going alone would be a little lonely for a long-awaited recreation. Going with several people would be good, I thought, and started to want to rise back to the surface. When go, I saw a small hole appear in the bottom of the lake. Huh? What's that? A small magical reaction? That hole got larger and larger until I saw a person's hand appear. Then a face popped out. Finally we got out, but there's more water. Daiki Ani Aizen, why are you here? Athena appeared with only her head covered in coating. Furthermore, if you wish, then it comes true. Karen followed with a happy and vigorous look in her eyes. I didn't know why the two of them were dirty and popping out of a hole in the lake, but for now, why don't we go up? Yes, okay. Daiki Ani Aizen, my underwater breathing training was done for now. We rose to the surface to talk calmly. My house is a magic power spot. Just by living there I become the strongest in the world. Chapter 173. I stepped onto the shore and listened to Athena and Karen's story. So you were training in the dungeon ever since this morning? Looking at her again, Athena seemed worn out. Sounds difficult. It's fine. I got to meet Daiki Ani Aizen, so I'm feeling good somehow. Yes, I'm just like Princess Athena, Karen said and looked at me straightforwardly and blatantly. She's got a strong gaze as usual, I thought. By the way, what are you doing, Daiki Ani Aizen? Athena asked. I'm having some fun and swimming. It's hot after all. Playing in this lake? Yes. I wonder if I said anything strange? Let me just tell you, Hesty and the others are playing here too. Even now everyone else except for us were swimming in the lake. Why yeah, I guess so. Dragon King Sans can swim and play, but never mind. I understand. Daiki Ani Aizen can swim here too. Oh, it seems like she thought I couldn't swim. Well, I can swim pretty well. I've gone plenty of places to swim after all. Why yeah, I guess so. Somehow it seems like Athena's face has gotten strange again, but whatever, it's not like there's a problem, I thought when. But still, why is a man such as Daiki using coding to swim? You can definitely swim in any type of water, Karen said while tilting her head. Well, it's not for swimming. I heard how to breathe underwater, so I thought that using coding would be good. Oh, I see, then I can understand it, Karen nodded. But it made me wonder what else it could be used for. Anyways, if you need to breathe underwater, do you have any plans of going into a deep body of water? Well, I guess I was practicing because I might end up going to the Fort Cities lake. The moment I said that, Athena's eyes began to sparkle. You're going to that big resort? That's so nice. I wish I could go. Resort? That's right. The Fort Cities lake is one of the most popular relaxation spots. Oh, is that so? First I've heard of it. But popular, huh? If there's too many people at this place, I wouldn't want to take a vacation there. Ah, in that case you don't have to worry. Our royal family has a sort of private beach there, so if you use that you should be able to peacefully enjoy yourself. Really? They had something like that, as expected of the royal family. So, could I tell Onsama that Daiki Aizen is planning on going there? Tell Diania? Onsama seems like she's had it hard recently, so I bet she'd want to play. I think she'd give us permission. So it was like that? Then I guess we should ask her. Okay then, I'll leave it to you, Athena. Okay Tilda. Got it Tilda. Then I'll go tell her Tilda, she said cheerfully and left with Karen. But still, a private beach at a resort, even though it's a lake, it seems to be an amazing place. But as I was thinking, even though I just got out, it's so hot. The sun was beating down from above. I had started to sweat again, so I jumped into the lake once more and started to swim. Evening. Diania was receiving a report from Athena and Karen, who'd come back from the dungeon. What? Daiki Dano was going around naked? Oh, Onsama, calm down. He was in a swimsuit. A swimsuit. Oh. Sorry, I lost my cool. She had been buried under paperwork more than usual and was sleep deprived. After hearing the information she had misunderstood, she thought to herself, I have to control my emotions better, and began to listen more closely. And so, Daiki Dano wants to go to the Fort Cities beach? I said that he could probably use it. Fumu. Diania started imagining things. Daiki Dano was very powerful, so the journey there should be safe. Moreover, Karen. You and the other Dragon Kings are going to, right? Yes, that's right, Diania. Besides myself, and Hesti, and Manaril have said they wanted to go. Ramiros will likely come as well, she said. So Diania would have to make sure there would be enough space for them. If they were careful, then they wouldn't cause too much damage to the surroundings even without coding. But, are any special preparations necessary? No, not really. This trip is for pleasure after all. We have no other goal except to relax. It seems there wasn't anything specific needed from the Dragon King side of things. Fumu. In that case the trip should be fine. Hey. How about it? Do you think we can? Yeah, I can give permission. No, that's not it. Onsama wants to come too, right? Well, you're not wrong. Recently she had been working really hard without any time off. She wanted to just go and have fun. The night captain had even told her to go and have a rest already, so this was a good chance to rest. However, my swimsuit. I wonder if it fits? Onsama's size has gotten bigger. Though the fact that she didn't say where was a kindness. She had been cooped up all the time in the castle working, and her body had gotten heavier. She was training, but her training was mostly not of the exercise type, so she'd let down her guard a bit. I need to shape up, but there's only a few days. Even so, her upper half had become a bit plumper, bust, so she may have to have her swimsuit changed. As expected. She didn't want to show Daiki Dano something pathetic. By the way, has the schedule been decided? We haven't decided yet. I see. Then I'll have to regulate my body and wait for Daiki Dano's decision. She thought that maybe she should start her preparations and purchases today. Will you be coming to Athena? I wanna play with Daiki Aizen. I see, then Karen. Athena. Do you have some time today? I was thinking to go swimsuit shopping. It'd be easiest to get things ready now, she thought, and invited them. Ah, really? Then I'm coming too. Alright, I'll accompany you as well. I didn't bring a swimsuit with me, so I should pick up a new one. Got it. I'll finish my work quickly, so just wait a little while. With the prospect of a fun vacation with Daiki, Diania finished her work with newfound vigor. My house is a magic power spot. Just by living there I become the strongest in the world. Chapter 174. Sui tilde. For some reason the water spirit was sticking close to me. What's going on here? I asked as my body was felt up. I think that it felt different magic power than usual, so it was checking. Felt different magic power? You swam in the lake, right? You probably took in some of Cataracta's magic power. That happens? Well, it was true that I had relaxed while being supported by Cataracta most of the time. Cataracta is close to being a water spirit, and you played around with it. I think that the water spirit might be a bit jealous. Sui tilde. The water spirit spoke up and nodded as if agreeing to what Hesti said. I feel like you liked playing in the onsen. Maybe I should play with you there again? Sui tilde. The water spirit happily nodded at my words and let go of me. You mean like the time when the onsen exploded? That's right. It seems to like melting itself into the onsen water and changing shape. It did that and we played together, but it ended up becoming like a geyser. The entire garden got soaked. At the time I was just glad that the clothes had been brought in before that. I didn't think that was playing. I thought it was some sort of enemy intercepting system. Why? It wasn't like a dragon had come to attack back then. The surrounding slime-type monsters approached, you know? Really? If you didn't realize, then fine. When they got hit by the onsen water, the slimes ran away. For such a thing to happen, I didn't realize at all. Well, I'm glad it didn't turn into a problem. The slimes are coming that often? As expected, when they're newly born, it's hard to control. There are quite a lot of monsters that have sworn allegiance. Wait a second, I just heard something new. There are those that have pledged allegiance to me? Are there any others than the wolf people and combat rabbits? That's right, there are obviously non-hostile monsters that came back after seeing you. Didn't you know that? They have been blocking monsters that tried to intrude? Really? I didn't even imagine that such a thing was happening. Actually, why do you know so much about this, Hesti? Usually they come while you're asleep. I'm awake then. The monsters that are allied with you know that it's dangerous when you sleep, so they try to stop the others with all their might. Certainly I have an automatic system for repelling intruders in place for when I sleep, but I had no idea I had such helpers. Well, there are others like the wild boar that are still hostile to you. Well, I think those guys are the type that charge in after seeing the red of the apples though. But still, before I realized it, I had some monsters on my side. I'm grateful that my defenses became easier to maintain. And Osama, and is so sad that you left without saying anything. A different type of intruder arrived. I guess so. You can't stop this. You and crushed Hesti in her hug. However, she wasn't the only visitor. Sorry, Daiki-san. I tried to stop her. Yeah, don't worry about it, Manaril. It's the usual. Manaril had come as well. As they arrived, Master dinner is ready. Sakura apparently finished making dinner. Sakura carried the dishes one after the other to the garden table. Oh, it looks delicious as always, Sakura. Thank you. No. Today we exercised plenty after all. Go ahead and eat all you want. Everyone dig in. Thank you very much, Sakura-sama. Thank you for letting me partake, Sakura-san. And so the Dragon Kings sat down as well. More than half of the people at the table were Dragon Kings, but it was pretty normal, so it wasn't a big deal. Okay then, let's eat while we decide when we're going to the fort city. Yay. And so we ate and made plans for the future. My house is a magic power spot. Just by living there I become the strongest in the world. Chapter 175. Okay then, so the plan is to head to the lake within a few days. Is that alright? No objections, Tilda. For right now we have a rough plan that it'll take place within this month. It was a little too rough to really call them plans, but we didn't know how long it would take to get permission. I didn't really have anything to do this week, but there wasn't any need to rush it. I can simply wait. With the decision made, we ended our impromptu dinner party. My garden had become calm and quiet. It's pretty cool this evening. The onsen would feel good, and so I headed over to my hot springs. It really is great. Paradise. Sakura and Hesty were relaxing and enjoying at my sides. They were relaxed just like me. Or even more so. After exercising my body fully, it almost made the pleasure of lying in a big bathtub twice as good. I simply relaxed against the edge of the tub without any strength. The spirits were also enjoying themselves in the bucket onsen I'd made for them. Since it was a small section, they wouldn't get drunk even if they went in, since they knew that the spirits would go and enjoy themselves in the bucket bath. That aside, most of the things living here had gathered at this location. There were even golems with water and juice inside them on standby. It was paradise. In fact, this is a little too much of a paradise. I feel like I'll get fat. Foo. It's quite fun to see Master's constitution improve, but you're burning quite a lot of calories, so it's fine, Sakura said with a laugh. But I couldn't understand what she was talking about. Burning calories? You mean through exercise? That too, but when you use magic it takes quite a bit of energy, right? That is squeezing power out of your entire body. That's why by using magic regularly it is basically a type of exercise. Magic uses calories too? I had no idea about this common sense, so it felt fresh. Each day I was improving and adjusting my golems and using magic for it. So that turned into my exercise. That's not all. When your body takes in magic from the surroundings, and it circulates, that takes energy too. So it's like metabolism. I understand now. That's why my figure hasn't worsened and instead gotten better, even though I'm just living normally. My calories were getting used up. The swimsuit I wore today was bought several years ago and it still fit. Plus I was able to swim easily and freely. Being able to skip exercise is another cool thing about magic, huh? Making golems, covering your body in it, and running around and jumping would usually make someone exhausted, okay? Well, it's not that great since I'm not really doing the moving. Most of the movement was from the wood support. I guess it might be something like that for you, Hesty said while looking off into the distance. I just told the truth, so why does she need to cope like this? Well, it was pretty normal, so I won't mind it. Talking about support reminded me, it was something I'd forgotten. What? I was trying to think up and test some new functions for the onsen. Do you think I could try some with you? I wasn't the only one who used the onsen, so I wanted as many test cases as I could get. That's why I asked, but, yes, as long as Master wants it I can test anything you want. I'm fine. Too. I received a positive answer from both of them. With this my work pace should increase. However, well. For now I just want to relax, so we'll do it tomorrow. Roger, that's right. Right now. We should just relax and enjoy. And so, the three of us washed away the day's fatigue.